visit the recording later, then they can. Last week, I told them in class that I put up 2 new recordings on YouTube, and they are the warm-ups. So there are 2 different videos of all the warm-ups. The first one is the warm-ups with me talking through them, and the second one is the warm-ups without me talking, which is kind of cool because you can just stay in that moment and just go through those. So those were, that was a request, and so I uploaded those last Monday. So if you didn't hear that last week, that's there. For you to use at your leisure. Use any of it, all of it, none of it. It's just there to help support you, so that if you want to practice and work on anything in particular, then it's there for you. It's kind of cool. Technology is cool. So let's start off by walking around or walking in place, opening and closing our hands. Just getting our bodies warmed up, getting our bodies ready to exercise. We never want to exercise with cold muscles. That sets ourselves up for injury. So just warming up those muscles, so we can do our little stretching from head to toe, just walking around for a few minutes. Easy peasy. If we were all in a room together, you know, we'd be walking around the room. But doing it in virtual land, I find myself walking forwards and backwards, which may be a safety issue for some. Not everybody is able to walk backwards, so don't feel like you have to copy what I do. I'm just trying to stay in the camera view and in that space, so you can see me. So you can stay walking in place and pumping your arms, opening and closing your hands, as long as you're doing something that gets your body warmed up. All right, so let's start with our warm-up stretches. Thinking about body awareness, our feet are about shoulder width apart. I have a soft bend in my knee, just turning to the side. So I have that soft bend here versus locked knee standing straight up. So it's kind of hard to see the difference because it is just a slight bend. It's not a squat. It's just that slight bend to give you some ease of movement. Like I said, shoulder width apart, feet. My weight is evenly distributed on both legs. I have good posture and I have relaxed shoulders. So I'm in control of my body, but in a relaxed state, not holding tension anywhere. So let's begin with our neck exercise, where we bring our hands up, palms down towards our chin and chest. We push away from our body and then follow those hands all the way down, chin towards our chest. Bring those hands up, chin to chest, push away and follow those hands all the way down. Let's do our other neck exercise. We bring those hands up, start out that same way, except when we get here, we drop one hand to our hip and then follow this hand towards that shoulder. Feel a little stretch in that neck, come to the front, switch hands. So we're not going as far as we can go. We're just going and stretching that neck a little bit. You do a lot of driving. You do hold a lot of tension in your neck because you're kind of paying attention to what's going on. You don't want to have an accident. You're hyper aware of everything that's going on, so you hold that stiffness. So this exercise right here helps relieve any stiffness that you're experiencing in that neck. My neck's always stiff. Where I hold tension. Let's just do one more on each side for good measure. tend to get lost in some of these because they feel good to stretch those muscles. All right, let's roll our shoulders, starting with rolling forward. And then roll those shoulders back, like a little massage you give yourself. Roll those shoulders forward. And back. Rolling those shoulders. When we roll our shoulders back, it helps reset our posture. So if you're ever in a place where you just find yourself kind of slouched, do this little shoulder circle where you do forward first and then back, and it helps get your posture back right. Our other shoulder exercise, we bring those hands up, palms up, and then we push them down in front of us. Inhale as you come up and exhale as you push those hands down. All right, we got Miss Gwen coming in. Let me bring her in. So we bring those hands up and then push those hands down. Good morning, Miss Gwen.
Good morning. How are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Inhale up and exhale down. Let's do one more. All right, let's grab our ball and let's stretch our spine, first separating the heavens and the earth. So we push down towards the ground and come up and push up towards the ceiling, pushing up and down at the same time, stretching our spine vertically, coming back to our ball and switching hands, pushing that other hand up and down. Back to that ball and switch. And switch. And that walking around we do at the beginning is important so that when we come to stretch these muscles, they stretch better when they're warm. So you can go further into that stretch. If you were to do these stretches at the end, after your muscles were very warm, then you could even stretch even further and work on that range of motion of your joint. Well, let's take that ball and go for a ride, turn to the side just above that knee, switch our hands and turn. So this is a lot like that waving hands in clouds movement, but it's a spinal stretch, a spinal warm up, side to side, horizontally. That top hand tells us which direction to go. So here we go. If my left hand's on top, I'm going to the left. If my right hand's on top, I'm going to the right. Just a slight stretch, side to side. All right, give your body a little shake as we go into our lower body exercises. Our weight will be on one leg, and so we really do like to stick to that magic 3 number, so one leg doesn't get overtired. So for our first hip exercise, we shift our weight to one leg. We put our heel out forward, our hands come back, paws in the middle, and our toe back, hands forward. Heel forward, hands back, come to the middle, and toe back, hands forward. It's kind of like a leg swing. A counterbalance with our hand being opposite of our feet. Back to the middle, shift the weight to the other leg, heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hands forward. Remember, when we go back, when we put that toe back, it's like a kickstand, and that's a more stable stance than here. And that last time, toe back, hands forward. Now we're going to shift our weight from one leg to the other. We have our hands stacked, and we're going to move our hands in the direction of the weight shift, staying within our frame. Shift the weight and tap out, bring it back, switch hands, shift, tap, back, switch, shift, tap, and back, shift. Shifting that weight back and forth. Very good. Now for our knees, we have our loose fist. I keep mine down on my hips, so I don't have tension in my shoulders, but you could easily have yours up here at your waist as long as you're not keeping tension in your shoulders. We're going to shift our weight to one leg, lift the other foot, tap the toe out, and punch opposite hand. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch, 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 shift, take your time shifting that weight, lifting that foot. Rely on those stabilizer muscles. That's how we make them stronger, is by using them. We make them weaker by not using them. So it's challenging to slow down, but do it because it is challenging. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Our next knee stretch exercise, we actually step out, small step forward, shift weight to that front leg as we punch that opposite hand, keeping that back foot flat on the ground, feet side by side. Shift, step, heel, toe, shift as I punch, bring it back, feet side by side, shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, side by side, shift, step, heel, toe, shift and punch, bring it back, side by side. So we got shifting front and back and shifting side to side on this movement. So it's that full range of motion of our hip and our knee as we shift the weight, also affecting our ankles. Those are all of our weight-bearing joints, so we want to especially take care of those. Because we can hold our hands here for our ankles, or hold them wherever you feel comfortable. Shifting the weight, heel, toe, rocking that foot, heel, toe. Bring the foot back, shift the weight, heel, toe, heel, toe. Bring the foot back, and now let's go big toe, little toe. Side to side, stretching that ankle joint. Working on the mobility and flexibility of our ankle, which of course holds us upright and helps catch us if we're ever in an uneven ground situation that maybe gets us off balance. When our ankles are flexible and strong, we can keep ourselves from falling. All right, very good. Give yourself a good shake. Is there anything specific that y'all would like to work on today? Well, y'all always know that if there's anything that y'all want to go over, we can. You just let me know. If you ever have any question, you just let me know, and that's what we'll go
I'm gonna have to sit down. My lower back is really bothering me because I've been doing too much with it. So
yeah, you always listen to your body. You always take care of you, and that's why I like Tai Chi, because you don't have to stop. Now you can sit down and do Tai Chi, or you can sit down and just watch, and you're still learning. You just watching Tai Chi is relaxing. So there's lots of ways to do Tai Chi. So we're going to go over our basic 6, and I'll talk you through it as I do mirror image. Move that chair out of the way. So with our basic 6, we always think about our bodies, keep our bodies in a way that is holding our weight. Our weight is evenly distributed. We're not holding tension. We're doing a good job of having good posture. I can't tell you how often I'll catch myself kind of slumped over, or maybe I'm in a hurry and I catch myself kind of leaning towards the movement. And so just being aware of how you're holding your body. I've really gotten that gift from Tai Chi, but we have to think about it. It doesn't just magically happen. The more you think about it, the more you're aware of it whenever it's not in a right spot. So thinking about body structure, upright posture. As we go through our basic 6, we think about weight transfer fully. So fully shift the weight, then take that step. Fully shift that weight, and then bring that foot up forward, not getting in a hurry, just like every day we might just step forward. That doesn't engage our stabilizer muscles in the same way. When we slow down, it really grabs onto those stabilizers and really forces them to work to help us be balanced and coordinated. And that's what we want, so that we can prevent ourselves from falling. It doesn't mean we'll never fall, but we're trying to set ourselves up to be strong to where we can catch ourselves. So let's start with our making sure we're breathing. And commence. Shift that weight and step. Shift. Bring that foot forward and come back. Open and close. Single whip. Shift. Step. Push. Turn. Separate. Shift. Bring that foot back. Waving hands in clouds. Step. Turn. Switch. 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 Step. Turn. Open and close. Single whip. Shift. Step. Push. Turn. Separate. Shift. Bring that foot back. Waving hands in clouds. Step. Switch. Turn. Switch. Step. Turn. Switch. Step. turn. Switch, step, turn. To the middle for open and close. And close it out. How was that?
What's wrong with
Miss Susie, if you're doing that, the movement seated, which I can't see, and that's okay. I see your head.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can.
Don't worry about it. As long as you're taking care and listening to your body and taking care of what you need. But just as a reminder, when you do it seated, you can do several different ways. You can do those upper body movements, commence. Right now, we're just doing upper body. Bring it back, open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. And I may be doing this the wrong way, and if I am, I'm sorry. You get the gist. We're waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. So right then I just did the upper body movements as if I didn't even have legs. So, you know, there may be somebody that does Tai Chi and they don't have legs or they don't have any function of their legs. So you would do that seated and just do those hand movements. Or if you want to do it seated, you can push the weight into the floor with your feet. And that engages muscle. And for people who don't have a lot of strength in their legs, this is a good option to help them build strength. So here when I come up for commencement, when I come down, I just push that right foot into the floor. And then I push my left foot into the floor. So I release the right foot and then push the left foot. When my hands go out, that's whenever I push the left foot into the floor and release the right foot. Keep that left foot pushed into the floor, bring it back, and then I release both legs to do open and close. So seated commencement is come up, push that right foot, keep pushing that right foot, keep pushing that right foot. Now release it, push the left foot, bring it back, and then release that left foot, open and close. So that's how you can engage your leg muscles when you're doing seated Tai Chi. You don't have to do it that way. That's just an option to help engage muscles to make those stronger. Same thing throughout. When you come up, push left, back, release both, open and close. Now we're gonna do that single whip. We would shift our weight to our right foot. So that's where we push that right foot into the ground here. And then release that right foot to get ready for open and close. So it may feel a little tricky at first, pushing the feet into the floor. Probably my best advice is don't overthink it. Just do it. Just push that foot and then.
I've done it before, you know, and even with Robin, because I have so much back problems. So I do both.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I feel all out of sorts when I'm trying to push my feet into the floor and do those arm movements because I haven't practiced it that often. So I think I overthink it and get overwhelmed, but the whole point is just to engage the muscle so that you can increase your strength in your legs. So just a side note on how to do seated Tai Chi with with weight shift. So, or you can do it without doing any leg movement, but you're not going to take steps when you're seated because you come out of your chair. And so that goes against what we're trying to do. All right, so let's go through our movements again. From the top, just keeping body structure in mind. Here we go, and commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. Now you get better and better with each practice, more smooth with our movements and less thinking. So if you have a hard time thinking about what's next, I suggest making you a list of the names of the movement, hang it on the wall or hang it on something or put it in front of you to where your brain doesn't have to do the thinking. The paper does the thinking and you just do the movements. Because sometimes our brain gets busy thinking, oh gosh, what's next? And then, you know, we lose that continuous movement because our brain is jumbled. That always helped me when I first started. Let's do it again. I like to take a few deep breaths before I get started. Check in with yourself throughout the movement to make sure you're continuing to breathe. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Close it out. So on Thursdays, we've been really going over like the movements, exactly what our feet are doing, exactly what our hands are doing. Are y'all comfortable knowing the movement, or do you need to go over this, just a review of the specifics of feet and the specific of hands?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Y'all are good. Miss Gwen, are you good?
I'm comfortable with it.
Okay, good. I know we all come from different experience and backgrounds, so I'm just, like I said, I just rely on y'all to let me know. So here we go. We'll keep doing it, keep going over. Are y'all catching yourselves doing anything that you're having to fix?
The very first one, I will go the wrong way, but then after I
Yeah.
get in my head right, then I'm fine.
On, like, I'm doing it mirror image. Is that messing y'all up, or is that good?
It's not messing me up at all.
Okay. I tell you what, I've done it mirror image so many times now that I'm afraid when I go to training, I'm going to do it all the wrong way because I'm used to doing it mirror image, and I'm just going to have to ask them to forgive me. So I just noticed that whenever I was, it's because I have the luxury of seeing myself. So if you ever do Tai Chi in a mirror, or if you're in a place where you really can see yourself on a camera, I was noticing how whenever I was doing waving hands and clouds, that my bottom hand was a little bit lazy. It was less engaged than what I thought it was. And I just want to make sure that that hand is engaged and not kind of lazy down there. So that was something I noticed just looking in the camera. I noticed whenever we do this hip warm-up stretch, man, I'm really doing a good job of staying in my frame. And I just like that reminder that I'm doing it right. But I also like that reminder of, oh, okay, get that hand a little more engaged in the movement instead of just letting it be kind of lazy down there. So I encourage you to watch yourself and see if your body's doing something that your brain isn't even aware of. So here we go, from the top, and commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. I was much happier with what I saw in that hand was more engaged as I made that turn. It was here and not just here, kind of lazy and unengaged. I felt like it was engaged, but we want to be in control of that movement as we turn side to side. It's a spinal movement, The hands are just going on for the ride, and we want to make sure that they're engaged. So I'm speaking more to myself because I saw where I lacked, but sometimes you might go, oh, I was doing that too. So I always have something to learn too. All right, here we go. Let me get a drink right quick. All right, from the top and commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. Y'all just want to keep going over and over with our basic 6.
I think we could go to the next one.
Okay. You want to work on brush knee? Okay. Ma'am.
If everybody else is in agreement.
Miss Susie, you ready to, you want to do brush knee? We'll start with the upper body movement. So you can practice on that. So I'm going to do mirror image. So be patient with me as I think about mirror image. So we in advanced 6, we go to the left first. So we're going that way. And we're coming from open and close. And so I call it lay hands. So I'm coming from here where my hands are facing each other. I'm going to take my right hand and extend it out. My palm is up. So my right hand extends out and my left hand comes and protects that elbow. But here's the whole movement. My hands go here and there. I like to think about this. Okay, this part of our bodies is all the organs that keep us alive, right? We have to have our heart to pump our blood through our bodies. We have to have our lungs to get our air in and out of our bodies. And then all of these organs here have a great responsibility of filtration and digestion and excretion. So all of this right here is our living organs. Do we want all of those to work right? Yes. Every last one of them. We want them all to work right. And so in Tai Chi, we increase our life energy. And so anytime we move towards this part of our body, I like to think of it as bringing life energy towards the parts that are keeping us alive. in that movement in particular, we have that where we're coming from open and close. I lay my hands and then come to my elbow. So I'm kind of pulling in that direction towards my body. It's pulling energy towards all the parts that keep me alive. So I'm here, and I call it laying hands. There. Okay. So that's the first part of our arm movement of brush knee. The whole movement looks like this. We're coming from here, lay hands, separate hands, and I call it throwing the pitch. Y'all have to tell me what Robin calls it because she may not call it throwing the pitch. So I'm here, lay hands. Now I'm going to separate my hands. This left hand is going to come down towards my hip, and my right hand is going to come around just like I'm throwing a pitch and extend out. Kind of like stop in the name of love. So you bring that hand around and extend out. So you still have that soft bend in your elbow. You're not fully extending out. And this hand is engaged at your hip. That's the full arm movement of brush knee. So here, at the end of open and close, lay hands, separate hands. So this left hand goes by your hip, and this right hand comes back and around and extends out. All right, let's do it again. Brush knee, hands, lay hands, separate hands, bring that right hand around and out, just like you're throwing a pitch. If you're right-handed, then this first brush knee is usually easier for you. If you're left-handed, then the second brush knee is easier for you. And because of that motion of here, if you were to actually throw a ball, if you're right-handed, then to bring that right hand around feels more natural than if you're left-handed to bring that arm around and come out. And that's what I have learned over the years teaching brush knee, is that lefties and righties have a different experience with that movement. So we have here, lay hands, separate hands, and come throw that pitch. Are you comfortable with that arm movement? Mm-hmm. Is that different than what Robin called it?
Oh, I know you did the stop in the name of love.
Stop in the name of love. You like that one?
I heard her say that.
Stop in the name of love. And you're ready to go to the next movement, which is play the lute. So we're going to stop in the name of love. So that's what we'll stick with there. So we're here at open and close, lay hands, separate, come around, and stop in the name of love. So that's the movement of brush knee. Now for footwork, all right, let me move this so you can see my feet. Just to show you my feet, this is the footwork of brush knee. So here, step, shift, follow step. Okay, so thinking about just my feet, I'm coming from open and close, so my feet are shoulder width apart. I shift my weight to my left foot to turn my right foot in. I shift my weight to my right foot to step my left foot. Now I shift my weight to my left foot to follow step with my right foot. All right. How was that?
Great.
Okay. I didn't know if once I turned, if mirror image got weird. So let me give you an option here. So whenever we shift to our left foot and turn that right toe in, this is a very difficult position for some people to be in. So if that makes you feel uncomfortable, a modification that we do sometimes, because it hurts sometimes some people's knee, and sometimes people feel like their feet are too close. So when they go to shift weight to the right foot, then they really feel like they're going to fall. So what do we do to modify? We open up that stance a little wider by shifting left. And then instead of turning that toe in, what we do is we step out. So you see, when I stepped out, my foot's at a little bit of an angle, but it widened my step. So now I can shift a lot easier to that right foot. And step left, shift, and then follow step. So that's a modification option. You can go shift left, right toe in, shift right, step left, shift left, follow step right. So that's the move as written by Dr. Lamb, but not everybody can do that because of their knee or because they just feel unbalanced. So instead you can shift left, step out right, shift right, step left, shift left, follow step right. So whichever one you want to do is fine. Do y'all have a preference? Do you like one or the other? Which, Susie, I know you're seated, so this doesn't apply to you right now. Miss Gwen, do you like turning your toe in?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, we can do it the Lynn's way. I'm comfortable with both.
I like both. I started really just go ahead and teaching the step out way to certain groups because I already knew that wider stance was just going to feel more comfortable. So whichever one you choose is fine. Our goal is to go from facing front to facing, I'm laughing because of mirror image, to facing to the left without just hopping. You know, we're trying to shift weight, step, so that we're facing to the left. We're going from front to facing to the left. So that's what we're trying to do. So we have to weight, shift, and step. So it's shift left, turn that right toe, shift right, step left, shift left, follow step right. Now, if you notice that right foot, that the foot that's further back, that foot that just follow stepped, where's my heel? My heel is almost to the floor. Like only a small piece of paper could fit underneath my heel. Like if you're looking at it, you're probably thinking, I think your heel's all the way to the floor. That's how close it is to the floor. Only a little piece of paper fits. Keep that heel down versus follow step here, where your heel is up in the air. If your heel is up in the air, then that's going to push you forward, just like whenever we do that knee stretch where we step, shift our weight, and back. If we lift that heel up, then our bodies go forward. If we keep that heel on the ground, then our bodies stay upright. So just keep that in mind and be aware that that follow step grounds you. Now, there are lots of follow steps in our advanced 6 movements. So just know that every time you follow step, that heel is towards that ground, only a paper fits there. This is just our first follow step. So we're coming from here, shift left, right toe in, shift right, step left, shift left, follow step right. And you see my toe and my heel, they're not in a perfect line, but there's that stagger stance to it. We're not side by side. We're not way back here. I have the stagger stance, but my feet are closer together. So from the front, it looks like this. So there's that space in between. I'm about hip width apart, but I'm not side by side and I'm not way back here. I have follow stepped there. That makes sense? Follow step, keeping that heel on the floor. So for the footwork, we have shift left, right toe in, shift right, step left, shift left, follow step right. And so that gets us in a place to put our hands and our feet together. So next week, whenever we meet, we will put this. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. We'll put this and this together. Here's what it looks like. Very good. So we'll talk about putting those together next week. But let's finish off by giving ourselves a little fist massage. Tell our legs thank you for working so hard for us. It's a lot with Tai Chi for those legs to hold our weight and support ourselves. So I look forward to going through and working on our advanced 6. Please be patient with me. Please be patient with yourself, because the advanced 6 are called that for a reason. They're advanced movements and they are more difficult than our basic 6. So don't get frustrated when maybe it's a little bit more difficult to learn and grasp than our basic 6, because there's just more to them. All right, I think, in my opinion, brush knee is one of the most difficult ones. So here we go. Gather tension and release. We don't like to hold tension. That doesn't feel good. Be aware that when you're holding tension, so that you can let it go. And practicing what tension feels like reminds us we might feel much better to let it go. Do that big arm circle. We make our fist with our hand, that represents our strength. We have our other hand upright, our fingers are together, that represents friendship. Our thumbs bent in, that represents humility. Strength, friendship, humility. We put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste. So thank y'all so much. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for being willing to push yourself. Like, that's awesome. That's what we're here for. Yeah, I'll put this on YouTube, and y'all just let me know if you need anything or have any questions. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Love y'all. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.